Alectra,
Hello.
thank you for being on With Miska podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You write your name with A.
Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce it?
Alectra.
Alectra.
Yes.
How do you pronounce it if it's E?
Electra.
Electra.
Mm-hmm.
Electra.
So Alectra. Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anyone with that name.
Yeah, my parents tried to create this like creative spin to Electra. And my dad actually works in electricity and builds computers. So they kind of got creative.
And you sent me a little bit info about you. Well, we have met before, I can talk about, but there was lightning.
Yes, that is my thing. So my Instagram is electrifying. And it kind of means like electrifying, but with a lightning bolt, you know?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you connect to any Greek mythology? Or where do you connect the name?
I connect the name to my father being associated with electricity and building things with that. But I do know there is Greek mythology related to it. And I believe it means a star or a light, one of the others.
Both of them are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some place. Morning becomes Electra.
Mm.
I don't know what that is. It might be, but there's some like Greek characters.
Yeah. And there's also a show, I think it was Electra Boom. And then we also have Electra Daredevil sidekick.
Yes, I know that.
But she is with an E, not an A. So
nice.
I'm not the first, but I want to be.
But are you the first with the A?
I know a few. I know like maybe 3 girls in this life with my name, but
Yeah.
I'm the only one with my full name, which is Electra Turi Griffiths. So
What's the second name? Turi.
Turi, my middle name.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I met you here about a month ago. We were at Dr. Self Tapes,
Yeah.
and you were working here. You were reading for me because I come here and do self tapes about a few times a week. Usually it's Joseph or Joel who own this place, and then they have a couple of employees, Oscar,
Right.
and you.
And
Do you still work here?
I work here sometimes. I think that I originally chose to work here for reasons like just reading and getting practice and just being around other actors and being around other creatives in general. And I've always had a background of like video editing and stuff. So that was really easy for me as well. So periodically, I've really been focusing on my own career and like signing and with a new modeling agency and really honing in on theatrical auditions. I really come here and audition more than I work here now, which is good. That's the goal, right?
Yes. Sometimes I think about Joel and Joseph that I hope they audition too. That you just don't read to other people. But I've seen some of their auditions on Instagram and they're great. Yeah, so I wanted to have you on my podcast because I don't remember what we read, but our interaction was really good. I really enjoyed reading with you and you helped me. It was wonderful 30 minutes that we shared. Good. And then I also heard about from Joseph and Joel that you do modeling quite a lot. And I don't do really modeling. So I thought that it would be nice to hear how's your career because it's different compared to mine.
Right.
I don't know that much about modeling. However, I had a modeling gig it was some kind of office thing. They needed like different nationalities. So I was the European, maybe middle-aged man or something like that. So it was cool. And it was only print. And that was so nice and easy compared to theatrical stuff. So we just stayed there for the whole day. And then you go there and they take photos. But you don't need to have any lines. And they usually tell... Well, you need to know how to pose, but they usually give you quite a lot of instructions.
They do. I mean, I can go back to when I was 17. That's when I was discovered in Denny's. And it was for this local church's fashion show. So it wasn't anything crazy or big, but it led to me meeting people and making connections and networks. And I met with this lady who got me my first like real modeling photos, and I just submitted online to this mother agent. And mother agents are essentially managers, but it's worded differently than a manager. So it's basically a mother agent, emphasis on the word mother, they're supposed to develop you, and they basically develop like younger girls, like 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, into becoming big models and getting them signed to big agencies. So I was a freelance model for like 3 years before I pursued getting signed professionally. And I did a lot of music videos. I did a lot of commercials. I did a lot of just freelance modeling until I decided to get more serious. And then I signed with Nomad Modeling Agency. And I would say my experience it was good. I think that my biggest mistake, and I will give this advice to everyone, is do not sign with the first person that wants you. Even if you think they're the most amazing agency in the world, I think that having options and just being able to meet with multiple people at least gives you different perspectives on what something or someone can do for you, which will be different from another person. So I think my biggest mistake was signing to the first manager that wanted me and signing to the first agency that wanted me. I think that I don't regret anything because it's gotten me to where I am today, which is, led to like the bigger jobs I've had, which was like the American Horror Story thing and stuff. But my experience with modeling was always it was like a road leading to acting no matter what I was doing, because every time I would audition, it felt like everything I booked was commercial or it was acting related. There was never anything I booked that was just, okay, you're a human mannequin. There was always smiles. There was always movement. There was always like some sort of character I was like channeling in a way,
Yeah. Where did this happen? What city?
Los Angeles.
Oh, you're from LA.
I'm from San Bernardino, California, which is an hour away. So yeah, wasn't hard.
How was it growing up here
in LA? So I've been on my own out here since I was 18. So I would say it's been a journey.
Or even in San Bernardino.
In San Bernardino.
Like in this.
San Bernardino. I love California. I'm definitely a Cali girl. I actually lived in New York for a little bit, like when I was 21, and cannot do the cold weather. But yeah, being a Cali person, just growing up in California, it's definitely a blessing. I know that it's a beautiful place to be. San Bernardino is definitely considered the most ghetto city in California, or the most dangerous. But that wasn't really my experience. Thankfully, I kind of like was on the edge of like a different city, so I didn't get the real bad parts of San Bernardino. But there's nothing really out there as far as like what I'm trying to do in my career and stuff, so I knew that I had to kind of get out of that and branch. And I always say I feel like I grew up in LA in a way, like I have been raising myself, because my 4 years of what could have been college was just 4 years of growing and up and modeling and acting and figuring it out, in the real world. So as all my friends are in college, I'm like I'm in the college of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you're in San Bernardino, I've only driven past it. I haven't had any business there, but is it mentally far away from Hollywood?
Mentally? Yes. Yeah. It's crazy because when I lived in San Bernardino, I would always feel like when there'd be opportunities, they wouldn't come to me as much, because like there's just something with the energy. When you live in a place, you're just more available and open to opportunities, versus when you're away, it just doesn't feel as attainable. Or like, even just people knowing you live in a city, they're more inclined to message you, reach out to you, and put you on a project or something. But if they know you live super far, they don't want to inconvenience you,
Even though it's 1 hour.
Even though it's 1 hour. And I always stated, I don't mind driving. I do it all the time. But like a lot of people don't want to. They want to hit up the person that lives 10 minutes away, not the person that lives an hour away.
Yeah. I have the same thing with Finland and many Finnish actors. So most of them need to be here. And that's why I'm going to Finland tomorrow for a couple of months. Well, not for a long time. I'm going there for 1 to 2 months.
Right.
So every time I leave LA, I get a little bit concerned that is there going to be auditions that I'm going to miss? And I spoke with my agent today, and I said that I'm available. I can be back here in 24 to 48 hours.
Right, yeah.
But people tend to forget you if you go.
Right, they do. I would say with acting is a little bit different because a lot of it's just self-tapes now. So,
Yes.
and even callbacks seem to be on Zoom now too. So, in that way, I think we're really blessed for that because you can be anywhere in the world and audition for something that's in LA. I would say there's rare circumstances where you get booked the next day or something like that, but it's not that common.
For me, it's often next week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not next day. Because I do quite often do like these small parts, small foreign guy hitting the main guy or something like that.
Yeah.
So those happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you were telling about that the first manager. Can you elaborate? So that wasn't really a good deal, or
I think everything was good for the time being. You know, I don't ever want to talk negatively about a person that really helped me get to a point, you know, because the woman that she really did help me, and she had a lot of experience in the industry. She was in the industry in the 90s. She worked with Anna Wintour. She's been with big agencies. So she had a lot of advice and industry, just expertism that she knew that was really helpful for me. And when you have a mother agency that submits you to agencies, usually their name stands out. And she was a name that, you know, had a lot of credibility to it. So in that way, it was great. I just think that there could have been more inclusion. There could have been more communication. I think she lived in New York, so there was like this big difference of we weren't even near each other at all.
Yeah.
You know, I think that what I've noticed is it's important to have someone near you that you can kind of call, maybe even if you can have a relationship where you guys can go to lunch together, like that's really great because then you're building this friendship and relationship, you know? So I would say it worked out for like the time being. I think because we were with each other for 3 years, I think as like 2 years went in, 3 years, it got a little bit more like, okay, what are we doing? Like, is this working out? And yeah, I felt like at a point I was evolving and I wanted someone that really pushed for me harder than I felt like she was pushing. But it's not to say that she wasn't capable. I just think that certain energies mesh, some don't. And I think we were kind of growing apart.
Yeah.
That's all.
But she brought you into the business.
I mean, like I said, I was already a freelancer. So I had already done 3 years, 2 years before I even signed with her. So a lot of that was also like I came in, all this stuff already that I've done. And, you know, like I said, a lot of mother agents roles is kind of building someone that's not like clean slate. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I've done this and this and this already. I have all these photos. Like, so it was really easy for me to get signed because all you have to do is show them what I've done, you know?
Yeah.
But in that way, you can't really mold someone when they are molding themselves. But I think as an artist, you should always mold yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
And how's your agent situation now?
So I do not have a mother agent. I do not have a modeling agency, but I am signed theatrically and commercially with NTA Talent. And I love them. They're great. I think like I'm actually really blessed theatrically. I think that I have a really amazing team that like cares about me, works for me, and like we work together. And it doesn't feel like there's this pressure like if I'm not booking, then they're gonna remove me because acting is a lot harder for at least for me to get booked. I find that I'll get booked for commercials like once every 2 months or so, or once a month. I'm trying to make it more frequent, but
yes, I have a once a month situation
for commercials.
Yeah.
Or
generally,
yeah. Okay, that's good. For theatrical, I actually just booked my first job for my second job technically, but it feels like my first real like movie role.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, it's like I haven't really been booking that much, but I get a lot of commercials I get a lot of auditions for theatrical. And I think just even in that, it's a blessing to be getting that many. And they tend to be pretty big. They'll be for Hulu, they'll be for HBO, be short films, independent films. And so just being...
Are you even SAG yet?
I'm eligible.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good status.
Right. So I feel like some of that has to do with just me not having a lot of experience in acting yet. Like I just don't have like a huge reel, even though I have all these commercials that look amazing because, you know, American Horror Story, even though that's a TV show, it was a commercial.
Yeah. I saw lots of pictures of you on your website and Instagram. So what was it? Because you're also in By the Fire. It looks like that. What was it?
So it was basically promo for the show. So I wasn't on the show. I was just doing the billboard commercial for it.
Huge billboards.
Huge billboards. Yeah. And then they had print too. So the print was the billboard version, and then commercial they played on the TV. But it was not the actual show. So sometimes it's like you can't actually use that for your reel for theatrical because it wasn't technically a scene in a show or a movie. You know what I mean?
Was it video too or just print?
Video, commercial.
Okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. Is that where you were by the fire pit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it looks like a part of the show.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I know it does, but it's technically not, so I can't use it.
Well, the big billboards must have been fun.
Yeah, that was a really amazing accomplishment. Like, it's crazy because the billboard that I seen, it was placed next to this AM/PM, and that was my first job in high school. For anyone that doesn't know, AM/PM is a gas station.
Yes.
So that was really cool. It was like a really cool full circle moment. Since then, you know, I've worked with like Adobe and Urban Decay and like really into like beauty brands and stuff. And
yeah.
I think like for me right now, I would say my bread and butter is commercials, but I am so passionate about acting and I'm just going to keep trying until I get it.
Yeah. Well, since you have done theatrical auditioning, I would like to ask about the modeling. How is the life of a model when you're auditioning, and how does it differ from theatrical?
So modeling differs, and this is pre-COVID, by the way. So I really don't know what it's like now because I have not signed yet. But before, it was you go to castings, which is in person. And I'm not going to lie, I've had some ups and downs with my relationship with modeling because I'm someone that loves food. I do not like to be a size 0 just because, you know, I don't want to like constrain myself to those things. And sometimes it feels like you have those pressures of needing to be super skinny, needing to, you know, be perfect. Your skin needs to look good all the time. Like sometimes the reason I loved acting so much is because I felt like I was being judged on my talent, not on my looks. And modeling feels like, I mean, it is. You're being judged on the way you look, not anything else. It really feels sometimes. So for me, it was like I would be going in castings and I'm sitting next to a girl that looks just like me, which is kind of similar to acting, but you know, you're next to girls that are like 5'11" and I'm 5'8", so I'm like feeling so short. And then you feel insecure because you're just like, dang, like she's definitely going to get it because she's tall and skinny and whatever, you know. So I would say that that the difference between modeling and acting was one felt very appearance based and one feels very just like talent and vulnerability based.
Yeah. But you seem so young that you probably don't need to work out or you can eat anything you want. Or
no, I think I can eat whatever I want when I work out, but you know, I do have a lot of thick genes in my blood. I come from an African side that people are thick, so yeah. I've always been very sporty. Like I was a dancer growing up, so my body is just one of those bodies that needs to be active, and then I can go and eat in and out when I please.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't because I saw your photos and the stuff that you have done. I would assume that you're happy with the way you look for modeling too, or
yeah, I feel like I've definitely had a lot of interesting parallels with my relationship with my body, you know, just growing up. I think everyone kind of experienced some sort of thing where like, oh, don't eat that because that will make you gain weight. Some women and girls more than others, you know, and I definitely like heard comments like that a lot where other people were self-conscious about what they ate. So it made me feel like, oh, maybe I should be self-conscious about what I eat. And I think I knew I wanted to be a model at a very young age. So I always felt like, oh, like I have to look like this, you know? And this is really before Instagram. So I really had like I need to look like Tyra Banks or Naomi. Like I need to be super skinny and super tall and stuff. And I've really changed my relationship with my body. I've really accepted that I have more of an athletic build. And with that, it's like there's so many different jobs I can do, like Nike, I could do Puma, I could do all these like cool athletic brands and stuff. And so I think I've just realized like I've just changed my relationship with modeling and I just want to take control of it in my way. And you know, New York is very high fashion. They are really doing the walking and fashion shows. Like that's really where you have to be kind of tiny. But in LA, you know, it's swimwear, it's yoga, it's Nike. We have fun. So
yeah, you lived in New York.
I did, yes.
How was that?
That was interesting too, because I went to New York in 2019 and I just was like, F it, like, let me try to get signed. And then I did. I did not expect to, but I got signed out there. So when you get signed in a different state, they usually want you to move out there for at least 3 months. So I moved out there 2020, January through March. And then boom, COVID hit and there's a global pandemic. And so it kind of like put a nudge in my plans. And I genuinely don't feel like I got to fully like give it a real chance out there. So I had to move back, obviously. But I worked with Macy's and Fenty Savage, so shout out to them.
Nice. So what are the reasons why you're not signed with the modeling side?
Mm-hmm. I just decided to take my time, and I really think and believe in that. And I just feel like I said before, my issue was I signed with the first person that wanted me, signed with the first agency, and I just think that it's really important to feel when you're ready. I think I had a lot of triggers with modeling that I had to kind of address within myself that, you know, I didn't want to become an insecurity or an issue. So I had to kind of, like I said, take control of it in my way. I wanted to do it when I felt ready, not like, you know, signed to another person immediately after my other contract ran out. You know, I really just wanted to give that buffer time. And then I also was so passionate about acting. I just kind of was like, let me just fully pursue that. And it's funny because I feel like acting and modeling are like my two children. And I'm like, no, you're my favorite. No, you're my favorite. Like, you know, I'm like going back and forth. Like when I'm mad at you, I go to you.
I understand everything else. Only thing I'm wondering, like, because the modeling probably would brings money in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is that a big sacrifice not having that?
Yeah.
Money?
I definitely like have been thinking like, dang, like I really am missing a really whole income that I could be having. But again, I didn't want to make it about the income because
that's great.
it wasn't really ever about it to begin with because I actually wasn't making that much money from modeling jobs. It was commercial and, you know, that was, like I said, my bread and butter. So modeling, I never really made a lot of money from it, surprisingly. So in that, I just never felt that. But it's like, I've been talking to a lot of people recently and I'm realizing that it is possible to be a full-time model, actress, you know, and even just a full-time model or whatever. So I think a lot of myself, I just didn't believe in myself for a while. I think I really felt defeated. Like I felt like I failed the first time around that I did it, which I know. Yeah, I know no one would ever say that, but it's just like I signed with modeling agency in New York, never worked out because of COVID. That felt like a failure. You know, I just didn't really mesh well with my other modeling agency that I was with. So like, not that it was a failure, but it didn't feel like a success. So in that way, I just kind of felt like, okay, I don't think modeling is for me. I don't think like I have a room in this industry. I just didn't feel that. So I'm I'm giving myself permission to feel like I do have space and room to be a model because I just didn't feel like one.
When I look at your Instagram, it's full of modeling pictures.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which look great.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, I just felt like, you know, because I am a good actor and I'm natural at it, it just felt like, okay, let's just pursue that fully. But I realized it was me. That was a self-sabotage thing that I was doing in blocking modeling. Just because if you don't ever try, you'll never get disappointed. But I just was like, let me not do that no more. So I am pursuing it again, and I have given myself permission to. So
nice.
Yes.
So how are you making acting happen? How are you making pursuing theatrical work happen?
So I go to school or classes, and even then, that's like a whole thing too. Like picking the right class for acting and the right teacher to really guide you into your learning and stuff. I think it's so important, and I've been actually debating between 3 different people because I don't know. I'm like, is this going to be so crucial? Like, who's going to help me get to a certain point, And I feel like some classes teach the fundamentals, but they're not really teaching you how to audition or like how to be on set. And then some people are teaching you how to be on set, but like not really teaching you how to really go within and be like really that character, So it's like important to find a balance of like all of these things that we as actors need, but also understanding that as you get older, there's different things you'll need to understand and learn, and so not to try to like take everything all in at once, as far as learnings go. But as far as acting, I have an amazing theatrical agency, and so they send me auditions. I get pretty frequent auditions, I would say twice a week.
For big shows?
Decent big shows, which is a blessing. And I know that because I've actually heard a lot of people don't get auditions that often. And so, it's just like, I think for me, it's like I love acting. Sometimes I hate studying, and like I had to like really change my relationship with how I read scripts and study and stuff. And, it's funny because I'm like, I really love like one-on-one coaching. Like it really makes me feel proactive and like excited, but when I'm just like staring at a page, sometimes it feels very like, bleh,
I know. Did you ever do plays?
No, I didn't. I was always such a shy kid.
So for the classes, what kind of, I know you probably don't want to say the names, but what kind of style? It's probably not improv classes. It's like scene study or what?
I would say one was scene study. One felt very like theater, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to even like debate with myself, like theater feels very fundamental. It feels like a foundation that I kind of need, but at the same time, it's not, you know what I mean? Because like the teacher, she was teaching like Strasberg and Meisner and stuff, which some people would call outdated these days. But I don't really know. I think all studies are important. Mainly scene study. I've actually taken a commercial class when I first started commercials, and I do actually recommend that because they teach you what people that are casting directors like they want to hear or see in a commercial.
Yeah.
I guess I can give a tip. They usually say that if someone asks you like, oh, like what's your favorite movie? It's not really about the movie. It's more about like how the movie made you feel and like who you watched it with or whatever it was about. But like they want you to like light up and like be excited, It's like more about you than it is whatever question they asked you. So, when they say like, what are your hobbies? Like, also they really hate when you say hiking, I guess, and yoga probably, and saying acting and modeling. So if I were to say like, oh, I really enjoy making rugs, but I enjoy making rugs because it reminds me of my passions for creating art that I did in high school. And it reminds me of me and my mom or, something like that. Like they just want to feel authentic with your answer.
That's sweet. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I just did the audition for a grocery store for Finland.
Nice.
I did this morning. I was a dad who brings home groceries.
Are you signed out there in Finland?
In Finland, they don't really have agencies. They have like 3 agencies, so you don't need to be signed.
Okay.
I would happily be signed, but most of people are not signed.
Okay.
I have I have an agent here who's all across the board.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. So when you moved here as an 18-year-old from San Bernardino,
yes,
probably by yourself.
Yes.
How was it?
So it's funny.
And where did you move? Sorry.
So I moved to Ladera Heights, which is it's called the Black Beverly Hills in LA. And it's basically just like a neighborhood full of really successful Black people, like lawyers and doctors and stuff. Or a city, not a neighborhood. So my friend, she lives out there, and her father, who's a lawyer, he had a house and he was looking for someone to manage it because he was doing Airbnb. And so, I'm 18. I'm like, I want to be out there. And he's like, do you want to manage the house, and you'll get like half rent off. I really should have not paid anything. Do not pay anything if you are an Airbnb property manager. But I was paying like $700 a month, and I thought that was like a steal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, but yeah, it was good for the time being. It was a little stressful having to like be in the home when people would check in, on top of trying to like do your thing. And like as an 18-year-old, I was like, oh, I have to get a job or like something, and I think that's like the hardest thing as an artist, feeling like you need to get a job to support your dreams and then not having enough time to actually do the dreams that you're trying to do. So that was like kind of difficult to navigate, but I ended up booking this Samsung job that paid pretty nicely. So I was able to like chill for a while. So it's all just like, it feels like it's just waiting for like the big jobs to like keep you good and comfortable for like, a few months. But I would say it was interesting. Like I really was navigating myself. Like I said, I feel like I was growing up, at the same time. And like, it's interesting being around like clubs and stuff. And I had a fake ID. So I was like in the clubs at 18 years old.
How was it?
It was fun. It felt like it was needed for the time being. Like I feel like a lot of us just like to kill time, like fill your time doing stupid stuff, and like a lot of filling voids and running away from whatever. And I think a lot of artists, we go through these motions of not feeling good enough or not feeling like we're working enough. So we like fill our times doing things that aren't as healthy as they should be. And so what I could have done was definitely work out a lot or like just eat healthy. But I just felt like I had to really, like I was doing DoorDash and Postmates, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've done it too.
Yeah, I was just doing that to kind of upkeep, but it felt like I had no time to like go home and cook after, I just kind of ate like whatever restaurant I was at the moment,
Yeah.
And so I feel like I lost a lot of my fitness because of that. Like I wasn't really physically fit anymore because I was eating just like these cheap fast food options. And I don't know, it just like sucks that we as artists like have to kind of go through these things. But I hope it gets easier for artists and we can make sustainable income,
How are you making it happen now? You were talking about the classes, but then also auditions, jobs.
Yeah, I feel like, social media is a thing. Like it pays when you post and stuff.
Oh, yes. You have 13,700 sub followers.
Yeah.
So, thank you for telling. I was going to ask about that. Yeah. How does it work when you have that many followers?
Well, I will say I'm at a point now where like if I wanted to walk into any agency, I feel like I would be considered, like I would be taken fairly seriously because I have all these great things on my resume. I have this big following. It's not really a big following, but it's crazy because in New York, that is a big following.
Okay.
People don't really, I would say mostly LA, maybe Miami are more places that care about following. Like as long as you have like above 10K in New York, anywhere else, like you're like seen as popular and like you have this whole following. But in LA, 13K is actually not a lot at all. I'm considered a micro influencer.
Okay. I need to ask one specific question. You said that walk to any agency. Are you talking about modeling agencies or what agencies?
I'm talking about modeling and commercial and maybe theatrical.
So they all look at the followers? Okay, that's good to know.
I would say way more. Theatrical, not as much. I don't think they care. But commercial also, I don't think they care. Modeling does care. Yes.
Wow. I would not have guessed. Because I feel that models are often really anonymous.
Anonymous.
Anonymous. Especially because it's the brand that you're representing.
Uh, it's a mixture of both. Like I've met models that have like 2,000 followers, and like you don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the way our world is going. Everyone cares about TikTok. Everyone cares about Instagram. So it's honestly, I think TikTok is the big one now. Everyone cares about how many TikTok followers you have.
Are you there?
I'm not. I have like 200 followers because I'm just. I'm one of those people that I have to be passionate and I have to be excited about it. And TikTok feels very curated to different niches. And I don't feel like I have just one niche, you know? Like I'm an actor, I'm a model, I'm a dancer. I like to cook, I like to make rugs. You know what I mean? It's
Rugs?
Yeah.
How?
So there's a thing called a tufting gun, and you have like a thing, I forget, it's like a stand, and you put a monk's cloth on it, and then you have a projector, and so you just pull up whatever photo you want and you trace it on the projector, and then you have yarn and you put it in the gun, and then you just trace it. It's not hard. It's not, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's not like hard. It's something you can just get the hang of and eventually get it.
What is it called if I Google it?
Tufting gun.
Tufting gun.
Yeah. So tufting rugs.
Yeah, and you can make like pictures.
Anything. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
You don't need like a big machine. It's just
no. But it does get more intricate the more you like want to get good at it. Because there's people that like someone made like LeBron James' face and it was so detailed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets pretty.
What have you done?
I did an earth.
Yeah.
And I did like a purple circle around the earth. And then I wrote on the earth, "Wish you were here."
Yeah, because on your Instagram you say that person not from Earth, or something like that.
Not from this planet.
Not from this planet. What's that?
I'm very like spiritual. I believe in past lives. I believe in cosmic entities. I believe in aliens. So sometimes I feel like I'm an alien or like I'm not from here. Like my soul is. When I die, I'll be in the cosmos again,
Yeah. Do you go to any places or gather with some people? Yeah.
There's actually this one place called Community Healing on Instagram, and like they do a lot of sound baths and like meditation healings. I'm not someone that's like wearing spirituality or like wearing like those type of things. Like I don't promote it in that way. Like I feel like a lot of like fake juju in LA, like fake spirituality people. I just feel like there's a lot of cool. I like sound baths, so I would do that a lot.
I know that.
Sound baths are not. Yeah, bowls, and like it kind of feels like hypnosis in a way because you just go to sleep for an hour. There's like Reiki healing, and there's chakras, and there's tarot. I've done tarot a few times. I'm really into astrology too. So like I've got my birth chart read a few times as well.
And you feel that it tells something real.
I do. What's your birthday?
July 22nd.
Okay, so you're a Cancer.
Yes, 1979.
Do you feel very emotional and in tune with your emotions sometimes?
I feel emotional, but in tune, that's a good question.
Okay. So Cancer is a water sign. I'm a Scorpio, so we're also a water sign. And it's just like, astrology is really just like, what was the sun in when you were born? So the sun was in Cancer when you were born. But then we also have like moon and rising. So what was the moon in when you were born? And it's just like based off the astrological, like, whatever you call it, But yeah.
So that's good. So you do some tarot, but do you go to any, like, I'm not making fun, but like, I don't know how to say it. Like, do you go to some events or classes every Friday you do?
No, the only closest thing I would say was the community healing thing I told you about. And they'll do an event a month where it'll be like sound bath or, breath work is also really cool too. I like breath work.
What's that?
Breath work is, you're like, you're breathing in and out. Like they teach you how to like use your breath to like enter to this like euphoric state in a way, just like with your breath. And most people aren't breathing correctly. And we hold in a lot of our breath when we speak and stuff. And so breath work really just keeps, it aligns you back to yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So I love breath work. It's actually crazy that your breath can make you feel like you can feel high just from breathing a certain way. It's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not a Christian, but I'm wondering, how does God, the Western God, relate to that in your
Right.
mind?
I'm not Christian either, but I grew up Christian my whole life, and I'm really more spiritual now. Like it's crazy because I have a mind like that loves to question things. Like I'm like, where's the proof? You know, what is
Yes.
you know, but at the same time I'm so spiritual that I know a lot of this is not, you cannot physically prove a lot of things, you know? So it's like, and I've been studying this thing called human design recently, and I love it. It's like a mixture of astrology, the 7 chakras, and I think it's called the I Ching hexagram. But it's basically teaching to try to get you out of your mind, making decisions from your mind, and into your body, because our bodies, which our soul lives in, if you believe in souls, we have our soul in here. And
I don't really believe in anything.
Okay. Yeah. So if you do, the spirit lives in our body, and it's kind of like that's the inner knowing. Like if you do believe in intuition or like gut feelings, like that's kind of that teaching, you know? So it's like your mind cannot predict the future. Your mind knows 2 + 2, and your mind knows everything that you've experienced in the past, but it cannot tell you anything moving forward. You know what I mean? It does not know any of these things. I do not know what you're thinking, you know what I mean? But my mind can try to assume, but it doesn't mean it's accurate or correct. So it's like getting out of our minds, because our minds are like the ones that really create a lot of chaos for a lot of people, you know. That's why mental illness is such a thing, because we really believe what our fears are telling us, you know, like even my fear of thinking I don't have a place in modeling, like that's just a stupid fear my mind created, but I really believed it and went with it. But it's like if your body feels passionate and excited about something, then it's more like, yeah, this might be good, you know, like this is something that I'm excited about. But if you have to like mentally excite yourself, it might not be for you.
Yeah. I think your mind and body, like you said, that it observes things and makes conclusions. I think sometimes it's faster than your actual mind, that if you get a bad feeling of some person, you might want to listen to that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be anything supernatural.
Yeah, it's our minds that then go like, well, was that really accurate? Was I really feeling that? And then you start thinking of all the cons and the pros of this person. And sometimes your mind is like, no, actually, like, I think I was, you know, overreacting.
Yeah.
But it really isn't that. And you should just go with that gut. But sometimes, like, I think a lot of people just don't want to be the bad guy. We want to be people pleasers. So sometimes when you just trust those feelings, there's nothing that makes sense to back that up. But like, I don't know, sometimes it feels like you have to just do it. Like you have to just go for it.
You were telling about that you get some money from Instagram.
So they do have these reel bonuses now, you know, so reels. Like,
yes, I know reels.
Reels, yeah. So they have reels bonuses, which is, it's so weird. They'll pay you like, depending on your followers and the amount of views you'll get, you know what I mean? The max you can get paid is like 35,000. I don't have that option at all, but these are girls that are like, have millions of followers, you know what I mean? I would say like, you know, certain reels pay more than others, like depending on your views. Like they have bonuses, and the max you can get is like $1,200 for some people, and then some people's $35,000. So yeah, and you know, like ads, you can like get brand deals, you know. I would say like I get a lot of money from Instagram just from people reaching out to me to work for their clothing line or something, you know. So it's not like it's Instagram itself, but it's whatever connection I made from Instagram.
Yeah.
You know.
What kind of work? They send you clothes or something else?
So I've gotten a few like that. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest like social media influencer either. Yeah. It's just not something I was like super passionate about. But I've definitely like been reached out by designers or something, or like stylists and artists that are like, oh, can you do this music video, or can you work on this photo shoot? It pays this much, or photographers. So I would say it's more like networking and that sort of thing is how I've made my bread from that.
Do you actively try to make that continue or grow?
I would say right now more so I have been, just because like I really decided to pursue what I'm doing full time. And, I've done a lot of like side gigs and side jobs that I didn't want to be doing if I had a choice, or like just felt
Yeah,
like,
me too.
you know what I mean? Like, I think, and I'm really, this is what this human design thing is that I'm reading about. I'm really testing out this right now, and I'm testing out with faith. Like, it's basically just like take a leap of faith and don't spend your energy doing things that aren't helping who you want to be and, being productive. So like me having a 9-to-5 job at a job I hate at a, let's say, a coffee shop or something, or like a night job at a club or something, like these are things that I go home and it's depleted my energy so much that I don't even have energy to put into like modeling or acting, because I'm so like, I'm worried, or like I'm pissed about whoever customer yelled at me, and like I'm so consumed with that. Like my mind is everywhere from like me needing to be here at these times, but like let's say I got a casting or an audition at this time, it's just like I'm just like let's try it out. Let's have faith. Let's just see what happens if I don't have a job and I spend more time posting on Instagram, because the more I post, the more people see me. So that means the more people could reach out to me, submitting on LA casting more, like having more time to do that. Maybe start a YouTube. I actually want to start a YouTube channel for ASMR.
I know that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Well, I know it from just, I think I've read articles and I've Googled, and I can't tell how, but yeah, and I listen to podcasts quite a lot, so I wanted to also listen that. I don't know how, but I have watched ASMR videos, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I wanted to do that because
I think they're fascinating. Something in that interests me, and I think I like to listen stuff. Yes.
Okay. There's some ASMR videos where there's like people acting, like they are doing like different scenarios. Like let's say like I'm in a classroom brushing someone's hair and I'm like talking, like it still kind of is like acting related because you're playing this like little role or like little scene that you're doing. But a lot of people get paid from YouTube and ASMR. So I think that will be a good little revenue if I pursue it.
You should definitely do it.
Yeah. I feel like I have the voice for it.
Yeah. I love your voice.
Thank you.
Do you know what kind of, yeah.
Like they do that.
Just gonna brush your hair. You're great. This is gonna be wonderful.
Yes, you're good too. Maybe I'll bring you onto mine.
Sounds good. I'm gonna be your. I love that. Do you know what you might be doing? What kind of?
When I do it, I've actually thought about this. So there's this one girl that she plays like toxic friend, does your makeup, and she'll like talk so much crap to the friend, and she'll be so mean, but like people love it. Like, and it's like a whole series. Like it'd be like toxic friend on date with your ex. Like it's crazy. So for me, I'm like, I don't want to do toxic friend, but I feel like I could do like actor at audition, or like, you know what I mean? Like make it related to what I do, or like just something fun. Like I've thought about doing like first date and like, little, cause it's funny cause you could do like a green screen background thing too. So you can I can make the background or like a restaurant or something. And like, I don't know. I'm just like figuring it out, but I think I'll figure it out soon.
I think do you have the gear at home?
Yeah.
Nice. Not the ears. Do you have the head?
The fluffy thing.
The one that has ears.
Oh no, I don't. I've seen those. Yeah.
Where they rub the ears.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
I was thinking maybe you should do also cooking.
Oh yeah.
Like ASMR.
No, I thought about that because like when you like chop potatoes or something, it must like sound cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You said that you like to cook.
Yeah, cook. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I want to change. I want to switch it up. So it won't just be one thing. I could do cooking. I could do makeup. I could do hair. Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
So during COVID, since there was nothing going on, I delivered food.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got this. I've been doing pretty much ongoing voice work in
Mm-hmm.
Finnish.
Mm-hmm.
So many videos need Finnish narrators.
Mm-hmm.
and they hire these actors from LA, which is good because there's not really Finnish actors here. There's a couple, but not many.
Right.
So that has been my like job that gives me some semi-steady income.
Okay.
So I have a microphone and stuff at home. Yeah, I guess that's why I'm interested in it, because I do voice work a few times a week. But it's more standard, just telling stories. But I need to listen to my voice because I edit it. Yeah, so that has been like my job type of thing for a couple of years, and it has been good. But I still have my DoorDash and Postmates cards that and the app that if it happens, I'm ready.
Yeah, I actually did Instacart during COVID.
Me too.
Instacart was very lucrative. It was like I was making like $4,000 a month.
It was great, especially in the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, it's horrible now.
It is? Because I'm still in the Facebook group and everyone just complains.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, I would say like beginning of last year, it just got a little worse because obviously more people started going in person to grocery shop, and like Instacart stopped sending, because there would be like $90 batches, you know, and
I know
all you need is 2 of those a day, you know, like it was pretty cool.
And the bots.
The bots.
I guess they exist.
Yeah, that was a big problem too.
It's weird. I don't know if it's still that you need to swipe. You sort of need to swipe blindly, because if you read it, read the batch, someone else will take it.
Yeah. So I don't know what it's like anymore. I know it was like first come, whatever, like whatever you could pick. But now I think it's like the format of DoorDash where you like scroll and like they show you the different stores in each like city or whatever. So it's formatted a little different now.
Okay. I like DoorDash because it shows you the tip also. Postmates did not.
Yes. Yeah.
So what was the latest job situation? Or it doesn't need to be latest, but what has been thing that keeps you afloat?
Like keeps me afloat. I would say right now, like I said, I'm like, I could be freaking out right now. And maybe like, you know, like I said, I'm just having faith, but it's cool because every time I freak out, I book a job.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, I think if anything, it's learning how to manage your money more than, you know.
True. You can live in LA in so many ways. You can actually live here pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I would say it's a lot easier to make money than to keep money. And you really just gotta like a thing out here is dinners. Like I could spend $30 in just having lunch, you know. I end up spending like $60 with drinks and stuff. Like it's almost guaranteed you're like gonna spend $100 every time you walk outside of LA. Like,
I feel the same way, no matter what you do.
Guaranteed, exactly. Like grocery store, whatever you do. So it's like for me, I'm like, when I'm good financially, I'm like just swiping. I don't care. I don't look at money like that. But it's like, that's a habit I got to change regardless of what my finances look like, you know.
Well, I know how it felt for me to be delivering food, but how did it feel for you?
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty low income. It can be low income job.
I actually really enjoyed Instacart. I love grocery shopping. So I really enjoyed it. I think the worst part is just delivering it. Because you're like, unless it's a house, that's nice. Yeah. But when you have to go up an apartment and go like 5 steps up, it's like, or find the elevator, cross the hall, it's like really annoying. And you're carrying all these heavy bags. That was like the worst part.
Some smart people had a cart.
Yeah. That I should have had that.
Yeah. Now I have one, but I don't think I ever used it for.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever do it again. I'm trying not to do things that I don't feel excited about anymore. So I think like those things are great. I'm so happy we have Uber, Postmates, so people can really like work, you know. Obviously, we all need Uber to just not drive drunk somewhere, you know. Like we need Uber or taxis, but yeah. So
I have this question that I have talked with people about this, but I haven't really had young female models here before. So I feel that, I came to LA when I was 27 and then I went back to Finland and now I'm 43. So it's definitely a different thing for me and the roles are different. But I feel that if you come here as an 18-year-old beautiful woman or model, I feel that the LA probably opens up to you because everyone's looking for the next beautiful young woman. And you don't people even don't expect you to have experience because you're so young. So I feel that, is it great to be a young woman in LA because everyone wants you?
Yeah, I think I actually really like getting older. It's kind of funny because I just feel like life gets better as you get older. I think when you're 18, it just all feels like that, like this. Oh my God, I want someone to discover me. Like when I got discovered in Denny's, I was so happy. And it just like, I think that gives people the false hope, like you're going to get signed and you're going to be this big model all of a sudden. But it's like, it really takes so much work, and it takes years to really understand yourself and like understand your goals and like just the life lessons that come with being so young. So I think like it's not never gonna happen. Like there are some girls that sign out here at 18 and book immediately and work a lot. And I think it's interesting because their lessons are gonna be different from mine because I had to do it the opposite way where I had to work my way up and to get signed until I was almost 20. You know what I mean? So I think that being young is an amazing thing, and I think it's so different now. Like I can't even speak for like younger generations because they grew up with like TikTok and Instagram already being so prominent. Like Instagram wasn't really a thing yet until I was like a junior in high school, So I think even that, like you can start getting on when you're 15, 14 and you can already like create this whole presence for yourself. So I think the idea of that has changed completely because I think even with just the oversaturation of so many creators that it's like, we're not looking for like that one person anymore. It's so like, okay, great. You have this many followers. There's literally 100,000 other people that have the same amount.
Yeah.
So I think like the value, like even with streaming, like the value of like content is so not what it used to be because Netflix can make a Netflix movie in 2 months if they want to. They can just keep making so many movies. Like that importance and like a value of a movie is not as much there as it was because there's just so many, like all this content we see, there's just so many, all these models we see, there's just so many, So yeah, I think that like one thing, is just not a thing anymore because it's just so many of everything's,
And I think I'm going to almost the last questions, but since we are here at Dr. Self-Tape, where I do the self-tapes and also the podcast, and you have worked here at least for some time. You used to, well, you have worked here many days.
Yes, I have.
So what are the lessons that you have learned because you have seen dozens of people audition and do self-tape from the other side?
Right. I've learned a lot to not do, and I've learned a lot to do.
And we can cut some of this out if you speak out of school.
Okay.
And what can we learn?
What you can learn is like, do not overthink. One, come prepared. Definitely know your lines because, I mean, unless you're like such a seasoned actor, and you could just read something and do it immediately. Like there are some people that have that. There's also some people with great memorization that can do that. But there's really power in like working on a scene at home, like kind of knowing how you're going to do it, but still giving room to kind of be free with it. At least for me, I have a very specific voice, so I have to kind of rehearse how I'm going to like say things sometimes because my voice can tend to get a little monotone if I wanted to. I feel like I learned a lot I just watched a lot of people overthink, and it just showed me like how important it is to not overthink. We also have the TV here that you can like watch your auditions after every one you do. And I noticed like this was my own personal experience for me. Like the less I looked at what I was doing and the little like nuances, like the more easily the audition went and like just more natural. Like when you like pick at yourself and pick at little things you're doing, it just tends to take away from you being in the scene. I actually like, I'm learning this since like the class that I'm with, like the guy does say that it's really crucial to get every single word correctly. I don't really know if that's necessarily true or not because I've seen a lot of people book without being on book completely. And, a lot of people do add their own improv. So with that, like intuitively, I would say it's not that important to have every single word. And I've seen a lot of people kind of just like, or I've seen one guy who's so good. He just like made it his own, he still set the words, but like the way, even if he messed up on a word, it wasn't like, he wasn't beating himself up. He just like, wiggled his way into finding the sentence back and making it his own. So with that, I think also like, I'm realizing like, let's like make it more creative, like what can you do to kind of stand out in your auditions? A lot of people kind of just use a simple background. They stand there, and I think that there's just like so many self-tapes nowadays. You really have to find a way to like stand out with the self-tape. And so, some people will bring props or like they'll do cool things where they stand and then they sit. So I like stuff like that. I think that's kind of cool and creative. Yeah, I think having fun too is just, and like I said, really being prepared, know your lines. Because if you don't know your lines, you're going to be thinking about them the whole time and you're not giving yourself a fair chance.
Have you ever done that you read them, that they are next to the camera?
I've done it once, yeah.
What's your relationship with that?
The teleprompter?
Yeah, or the pages, either one.
I actually really always try to be off book if I can be. I've never like seen an audition really, like a lot of people weren't really on page when they auditioned, so there's a lot of people that actually learn the lines. I know some schools they'll tell you like you don't have to memorize it all, or like you can kind of go off book on book, but I think the best auditions are when you do not have the pages in your hand at all.
Yeah.
And with the teleprompter, you can't tell someone's reading the teleprompter, so you can get away with it. But I don't think as an actor you're giving yourself a fair chance if you're like relying on the teleprompter, But sometimes like I've had situations where this was just like too long to memorize in like the time they gave it to me, and so, or I just completely hated the audition because I won't lie, like some things I get, I just don't feel right. I don't feel like this is a fit for me. And I truly think as artists, we should be able to kind of choose what roles we want, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to do the role. Like you are the one that's going to have to do it. So if you don't feel good doing that character, or you don't feel right, like, or this just doesn't feel like someone that you are happy to play or something, like you should be able to say that, because that's you as an artist, like that's your creative, contribution. So
you're right.
I think like a lot of us don't want to disappoint our agents by saying no to stuff, but I actually was talking to one agent. He managed Corey off of Glee, and he said there was power in saying no. So yeah.
That's good to remember.
Yeah.
I haven't said no to many things.
Me either.
A couple of things.
I haven't either. I've said no to nudity, but that's about it. Yeah.
Do you get asked that a lot?
No, not really. I mean, there was definitely a point where they were coming in a little bit more frequently than I liked, and I just didn't really. But they were still for big shows. It was just like I play the nude girl, the crazy drunk girl that shows her boobs or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just so like, that will not be my first cameo. Like,
first network show.
Yeah, that will just not be it. Like that will not be the first way you guys see me, because first impressions, people do associate that,
Get it. Any thoughts on doing slates with what you have seen here?
Slates? Nothing crazy. I would say some people like to throw like a peace sign at the end or something. I don't really know if it really makes a difference. I think I kind of always like wondered, should you slate the way your character is? Like if you are playing a nerd, should you say your slate kind of like timid?
Good
you know
question.
What I mean? Like that I have questioned, because like I'm also like, what if I do the complete opposite so they see how great of an actor I am, Because like, oh, wow, how is this the same person? But then I'm like, maybe they want me to be similar. So if I play like a super uppity person, I'll be like, hi, guys. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you still feel young? To me, you are very young.
Yeah, I feel young. I look young.
Yeah, I agree. But you just started telling that how you like getting old.
No, I like getting older, and as far as just like, I'm not so like naive and young anymore. And just mentally, like, I think life, because of everything I've built up to this point, it's like, yeah, like I love being older because of everything that I've done already. It's, like I said, it's a lot easier for me to get signed to whoever I want to now because of these things I did when I was 18, 19, 20. And it helps me look good. You know what I mean? And so I can only imagine when I'm 28, the things I will have done up to that point. So as long as I'm in alignment with what I want to do, I think getting older is pretty cool. And acting is cool because you don't have to be any certain age. You can be whatever you want.
Yeah, I've noticed how my roles change as I get older. Like 10 years ago, I used to be a young dad, and now I'm middle-aged something. And the beard seems to work.
Yeah.
But I would like for my fat percentage to be much lower. I'm not saying I should be skinny, but just less fat percentage.
I know. The whole camera adds 10 pounds things. I'm like, I don't really know how true that is yet, but we'll see.
Where can people find you online?
I am electrifying, ALECTRAFYING at Instagram and YouTube ASMR. One day will probably be electrifying ASMR.
I love it. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
This was great. I didn't know much about you.
Yeah, not a lot of people do.
Thank you. See you at your ASMR taping.